You're listening to Half Formed Thoughts with Half Decent Studio.
Love it.
So you like that one? You
Yeah,
think
it's cool. I mean, these have mainly been half-formed thoughts, and what is a thought if not half-formed anyway? So.
it's really true? If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to go back and prove us wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're all half-formed thoughts. Well, done. I'm writing it down. That is now the name of this show until we change it again. Half-formed thoughts. Okay. So here's the magic of Zoom. All right. Okay. You cut out, but you're back. Am I back?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You are
Okay.
back.
I think that was on my end, but because I'm recording on my end,
yeah, that's the problem.
you're the one who'll look slow. Anyway, continuing on. This show is kind of like a peek behind the curtain of a studio in the making. This is Murray Galbraith, and I'm Rosie Odsey of Half Decent Studio. And Murray, you got your personal website up recently, and I helped you out a bit on it. We workshopped the copy for the different pages. And I remember when we did that workshop, you were so sure you'd get it done you'd get the website finished in like a day or two. How long did it take in the
end? So I think I pressed publish about 3.5 weeks after we had that workshop, and I'm gutted to admit that. Like I really thought, I genuinely believed that it was going to be simpler than that. Like I thought, like I so often do, and I don't know if any other creatives out there are like this, but I thought as a visual guy that if I had the right words, then the website would just come together.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, I had some great words and not all of them were perfect. So, there was a bit of crafting, but it turns out, as it usually does, it was nothing to do with, the words. It was really about, how weird does this sound? Am I emotionally ready to announce myself in a new way to the world? And I can't think of any more fragile statement than that. Like, what a pathetic, white dude statement to say, like, oh man, am I emotionally capable? But it's kind of a big thing. And I think like a lot of people, coming out like post COVID, and like a lot of us have done a lot of reflection in the past, 12, 18 months. And, post my last project, maybe even 2 or 3 years of it. And distilling down what we do into just a couple of pithy, really, well-crafted statements it's not just difficult, it was terrifying.
Yeah, no, just while you cut out there for a second, I just want to firstly, not pathetic at all. I truly believe that, but also it's just so normal. It's just so normal. I don't know if I told you this story. I had to include a bio in a corporate report for a client's client a couple of maybe 2 weeks ago. Couldn't get myself to write the bio. I did every other part of the report that I could except for the bio. And in the end, I outsourced the bio because I couldn't bring myself to write it.
Wow, right on.
Yeah, and I'm like, writing is easy for me, but I know that writing about myself is the hardest thing. Like, I'd rather design someone else's website than...
Same deal. Creating imagery is really easy for me, but doing it for yourself, like I've been using the same weird blurry image of myself for like 10 years or like a long time, like it because anything else, like, oh man, it's emotionally draining. Like it takes a lot to be able to feel like you're saying something new and interesting while also being authentic.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. And I can't, yeah, I don't know how you do it with words, but I really struggled to do that.
Well, I think that's another thing to raise. Like we often talk about the fact that you're an Enneagram 4. So to the uninitiated or skeptical, it's just more like you're you fit the artist cliche pretty pretty strongly. And so being, having that new interesting thing is like really important to you. I'm not like that. Like I don't feel the need to be, or maybe there are layers. But I don't have to be like super different or anything like that. But like still talking about myself kind of really sucks.
Yeah.
There are so many things that come up. You don't want to see, you want people to, you're like, I want to show how self-aware I am, but also how good I am at stuff, but also not look dumb. Like that combination. And we're always doing that in constant, like in conversation with one another when we're recording these things. And like it's 20 times worse when it's a website where you like that is going to be stuck on the internet for quite a while.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I feel really responsible for people's time, like for people's energy. And I don't want to send someone an email or like bother putting something out there that's not worth their time, that's not interesting. And, like I just, if you can get your design work done from anyone, then why would you, why choose me? Why choose my work? And so there's that sort of, I like, it needs to have value. It needs to, on one side, and then on the other side is like, there's all the training that we have. There's all the the appreciation for. So that's, I guess, form, and this is function. Like it actually needs to do something. Like you don't want to. For so many years, I've had websites that are just like long, complicated, mystical, boring things that are just like, see this, like this ambiguous. I don't know. Maybe I do this. Maybe I don't. Like
So
yeah, like
the kind of thing that someone goes, oh, interesting. Oh, I have no idea what that means.
totally. Man, that guy must be so busy or so weird that no one ever books him. Like no one knows what he does. And that's the classic agency, advertising type, thing. Like that's the world I came up in. That's what I always believed was cool and whatever. And it is, in some ways, it is kind of cool. Like I'm not going to pretend like it's not. Not knowing what someone does is an enticing idea. Like it's an exciting, sexy thing. But also, that person's probably broke because no one ever books them for any gigs, And it wasn't until you and another mutual friend like said to me, it was pretty much this time last year, the world's shutting down. We started doing, weekly calls to make sure everyone was okay. And we're like, oh, so let's review where we're at, get more work. And you guys kind of said, so just to be really polite and nice about it, what is your website? Like your website sucks. Like, what do you do? I was like, which is why I kept, building brands, like other things, to sort of put like this shape and fluff around me. When in actual fact, like, I think the ultimate brief, the ultimate challenge for any creative is to say, this is who I am. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Sure, you can say, this is what I'm interested in, and this is what I'd like to explore. I totally get that. But where your brain could go should not be your entire website.
Totally. Okay, so really funny. So usually I'd be thinking, let's do a retrospective. Let's figure out, what we would do differently next time. But like, let's be real. I don't want you changing that website, except for like little tweaks here and there, for like a decade. And then by then, maybe it's not websites we operate in. Okay. So no retrospective. What I do want to ask though is, now that you've climbed that hill, what's the next hill for you? What's the next thing in building the Murray Galbraith brand and building the Half Decent brand?
So Right now, I'm basically just. I came up an idea I sort of talked to you about a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, um, as a bit of a prize to myself, like a bit of a bit of a holiday in some ways. I decided I was going to go out, like make a series of short videos to just send out to people and say thanks for being cool, thanks for being involved in my career up until now. Um, and I'm just having a blast just making those. Like it's a huge amount of work. It's very emotional. Digging back into the archives about, we did this work together and this was a highlight, but it is so rewarding. It's such a nice, fun little project to do. And because I trialed it out at New Year's rather than send out a cheesy, copy and paste text message. Like I made little videos for lots of people and just said, hey, I'm thinking about you. It's been a tough year, but I hope you're well and whatever. And I loved it. Like it was a nice feeling. So I'm doing that. I don't know where it's necessarily going to lead, or maybe it doesn't lead anywhere. And other than that, I think the next big hill is leaning into this newfound set of constraints that I've written for myself around the website. Like I love working with small teams with big ambition. I love it. So now I've said to the world that's where my specialty is. I need to go and find lots more of those small teams. I mean, I'm already working with lots of them, but the idea of saying I'd like to target these. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only creative who hates saying I have a target market, because I hate it. I want to be able to solve every problem for everyone.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing to do is to solve for those particular customers. So yeah, I guess I've just got to, maybe the next big hill is saying no to small problems from big teams. I don't know.
Yeah, well, moving into maybe is like one step closer to definitely, right?
Well said, Rosie.
No worries. I might share mine as well.
Yeah, do.
So I've got a pretty good, like I'm not at capacity, but I've got enough projects at the moment that I feel comfortable doing some really long game stuff. So I'm making a course. That pause was because I was like, well, if I say it, then I have to. Yeah, but I'm making a course, and it's around helping solo businesses and tiny teams create systems and habits within the business. And I haven't decided, is it going to be like a comprehensive thing, or is it going to be just like one little slice? Like maybe it's just the money stuff, or maybe it's just the pipeline stuff. But that's what I'm working on.
Awesome.
For myself. So yeah, let's make sure we both do these things, okay?
Well, it's on camera now. I'm pretty sure that means by law you have to do it.
That's how it works. So if you're watching this like weeks from now, years from now, and I haven't released a course, guilt trip me back into it. Thanks, Murray. I'll see you next week, okay?
Looking forward to it. Cheers, Rose.